All right, so evolution applied to antinatalism or vice versa. Antinatalism applied to evolution. It's sort of like this natural selection thing. 40 thousand years ago, 20,000 years ago. Um, that's when we're just, everybody is, a family, probably really dirty, nasty, mean family. And it's, probably very much of a, who was that great, like leader, not like great leader, but like he's known to be like, I mean, he had to like impregnate like, every woman to spread his king gene. Um, the Mongolian guy or whatever. So whatever. I mean, just something like that. Like, somebody that just had to rule the world or whatever. So you kept having these these brutal alpha male types, um, continually, um, breeding, creating more human-like, more human-like, people. Um, so yes, to me, essentially, the full physical human capacity or biology is just to me, it's like a DNA degradation, or degeneration, whatever. Uh, just in that, whether it's we created fire or not created fire, but like, like invented fire and something like that, like cooked our food, like, whatever it had to be. We were basically, we were just, we were doing something somewhere along the lines that just made us more capable of surviving, like the natural selection thing. Um, so yeah, then you pretty much have, you know, it goes back to how just the DNA molecule is surviving in itself, like how it learns to survive. It's basically just a program that has to duplicate at all cost, reproduce. And if it doesn't reproduce, it knows that it will never be here again, some silly thing like that. Um, as if like the consciousness is in the brain, is in the blood, when the consciousness is like very easily in the brain. Like we can see how the nervous system is working. So yeah, it's this. I mean, it's an easy argument that we're just flushing out the degenerate gene, like not the degenerate gene, but just like this gene that basically wants to be neutral. It's like, yeah, it is sort of like that. It's like this, um, like say I um reproduce like I reproduce, and then everything I reproduce with, or then everything that's produced from me reproducing, like say I reproduce with whatever Mrs. DNA 5 times, and then we have 5 little DNAs, and I reproduce with all of them. Um, that's gonna make one hell of a weird creation. Um, so when that just continually happens and happens and happens, um, but it's more than that. Like it's not just all reproduction; it's more consumption. You know, uh, yeah, that's why. Like, I guess the DNA argument is pretty hard to, because like we had to consume, 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 but then at some point we had to reproduce. And then when we reproduced, we figured out that we could reproduce like 99% of what we were reproducing with. We had to consume uh, just to just to survive that day. you know, 4 billion years ago. Yeah, so I mean, my understanding is that like the universe is 20 billion years old, and Earth is 4 billion years old, and light years move 300,000 kilometers per second. Yeah, so fucking Big Bang. But back to the subject. Right, so 20,000 years ago, um something is happening, like I guess, what we're consuming each other, essentially. Like this alpha, that Mongolian king type is just roaming around and destroying, like raping and pillaging, and then right, yeah, I mean, like fire is created, and then uh, living amongst each other, like somebody with the fire decides to be intelligent and um move on, like move away, like uh just get away. Like they wanted to get away from that destructive Mongolian king that wanted to just rape and pillage all the family and just create more of it and eat more of it. And yeah, so they run, like one Mr. DNA runs away, and then, or one, whatever, ape man, runs away, and then another ape man runs away, caveman, you know, runs away, to follow, and then they all start doing that. Like they just, they keep escaping, they keep escaping, they keep escaping. Um, and then not only like do they know about fire, but they want revenge, on what's been going on with Mr. Mr. Mongolian King that wants to rape a village. So yeah, not only do they use fire, but they use fire to their advantage because they understand that they're weaker. They have to outsmart the enemy. Um, right. So I mean, that's all it really is an argument for. I mean, I can't go through 20,000 years of evolution, I don't think, and I don't think anybody wants to hear me do that. I'm not here to state a theory. Well, yeah, I'm not really here to state a theory, but just play with one, in that, yeah. So that, like, that's what's going on, and that's what's going on with like kings and nobles, or kings and nobles and traitors, traitors going against the king and overthrowing the king, going back, forming armies. I mean, it's essentially the Confederacy or the Union breaking away and going to war with the Confederacy, the American Revolution. Uh, it's essentially like the Allied forces, maybe call them Semites. I want to say Semites. Um, the Allied forces breaking away from like torture and killing and all of that, and then saying that's bad and wanting to go back and slice Hitler's throat, and just that process working over and over again. And now it's turning into this process of where like we're using our intelligence in a police state, so we're like hacking, we're like terrestrial, uh we're like terrestrial aliens, trying to mentally probe our leaders and find the find the cryptocurrency that's gonna um that can fuck them up or whatever. So, but yeah, now they just have like an oligarchy, and everywhere you go is gangland, and you got a freaking, yeah, you got a monkey on your back, but it's not a monkey, it's a 700-pound gorilla. I mean, the fuck? Like, nuclear plants are gonna be abolished, and then what the hell's next? I mean, it's just so ugly. I mean, the truth is really ugly. Yeah, it's unsustainable at its core. It's unsustainable to the core. Um, no nuclear, uh, no nuclear war. World War III doesn't happen. The natural disasters get worse. We try to space travel. Um, just have to, you know, crash land on Mars, and we have to eat each other to survive, and everybody on Earth gets hit by a uh asteroid. I mean, yeah, what the fuck? Like, it's just so the sixth we're like the sixth great extinction, so some will survive and whatever. Um, so yeah, evolution and antinatalism, a little efilism, in a nutshell.